Today, I track down another rare mob, the Screaming Goat. I also build a very cool nether hub with a sliced portal in the middle, and begin work on a much more powerful raid farm that will get me millions of items in just a few hours. And I also fully complete the EOL farm so that the storage system works perfectly. First things first, I'm gonna go and get another notch apple, right? Wrong. Instead, I'm going to get another goat to be friends with that guy. Finally, I've found a goat. You shall be the chosen one. And I'm gonna warn you now, this will be a stressful journey and you probably will die. But sometimes I've just gotta do what I've gotta do. This is probably a recipe for disaster, but we are gonna head on up and then fly home. As long as I can see the leader, I know he's still there. This has been a pretty successful flight. Let's just make it a successful landing. There we go. And we can do it all over again. And away we go again. Feel like this landing is going to be a little bit more dangerous. So we just got to commit to the water. This goat is still alive. From now on, the journey will be on foot. We've gone as far as we can on land, but it's time to sail in a boat. This is much, much easier than it was dragging him across land. The first signs of civilization are ahead. And finally, we have made it home sweet home. Now, you're probably wondering why I brought you all this way. Well, just let me head down here, grab some wheat, and breed you together. I think you need to be off the leads for this to work. Yeah, okay, you do. Now, this baby goat has a 2% chance of being a screaming one. And I don't care how long it takes me, I am going to get one. Can I put you guys here for a second? Because I'll have to build some sort of system to make this work. And that system will not be right by my house. I'm not listening to screaming goats all day. Instead, this poor trapped snow golem can. So right here is where the goats are going to be bred. Bear with me on this one, guys. I'm completely making this up as I go along. The adult goats won't fit through this gap, but the baby goats will. Once down here, they will fall onto water, which will be right here. It will flow along like so. And as they go along, each one will be put into... Okay, that is not meant to happen. As we're saying, each one will be put into a boat. Also, what kind of a crazy attack is going on here? I don't know who you guys think you are. I'm just over there and you're going to attack my house. I better grab a bucket of milk and get rid of you, drink the milk, and deal with the rest of you. And this goat can refill my bucket. Now to build the exact same thing on this side and collect up the goats. This is basically the only thing that could go wrong. But look at that. The plan worked perfectly. What on earth? You just jumped straight out. I forgot goats could jump. Get yourself back in there. None of that. And for the next part of the operation, we're going to need a load of wheat. All of this will be perfect. And then to do a load of feeding and breeding. I have lined up all of the boats that we need for this experiment. Let's get ourselves a screaming goat. I also have a serious lack of wheat, but lots and lots of bone meal. That means I can grow this, harvest it, and regrow it all extremely, extremely fast. Got exactly one stack from that, and I'm just going to feed it all to this baby one to make it grow. These slabs are also completely useless, so now all 4 of them have grown. I can break this, breed them, and start collecting baby goats. Well, guys, I've been busy. I have bred hundreds and hundreds of these goats, and whilst I was moving these over here, I heard a screaming goat. I don't know which one it is. Did you just hear it just then? So now I'm going to nip to my house, grab a bunch of fencing, and put them in a bit of a pen, and put all the non-screaming goats over here. And I think this little fella is the screaming goat. There we go, did you hear that? It just does a weird scream. And so you are going to live with the goat of Minecraft. And you'll be called Screamer. It's just such a funny sound that they make. And what will I do with all of these other goats? I've absolutely no idea. But if you do have any good plans for me, just let me know in the comments. And speaking of letting me know stuff in the comments, a lot of you guys told me that instead of using glass blocks right here, I could use glass panes and then you can't see it. That is such an ingenious idea. Look how much better that one looks compared to that one. You've really outdone yourselves this time, guys. So once again, they are all color coordinated, but now they just look so much better. And whilst I'm at it, I might as well add a bit of colour to some other of the beacons. And now that I've got my screaming goat, I think it's time we went on an expedition to find Notch Apple number 32. Just made a portal and spawned right in an amethyst geode. What are the chances? Stumbled across a dungeon on my way up, but sadly no Notch Apple. And so now it is my goal to try and find a desert. Finally, I have found a desert. And there's a pyramid right here. All it has of use is a couple of golden apples. And this ruined portal has nothing in there. The second pyramid is up ahead. Once again, completely empty. Same with the third one, the fourth, the 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th. And the elytra have now broken. Looks like I'll have to get some XP from mining up this nether quartz ore. And then it's back to flying with full durability. This is the 11th one. And still the search goes on. I also like blowing up the temples now. And as for the 12th, well, it's It's just really not going well for me. Same trouble in the 13th one. I'm going to start losing count at this rate, but I have searched 14 of these. It is not my day for finding notch apples. But you know what it could be a day for? A day for hitting that subscribe button, because I am trying to hit 4 million subscribers this year. But the channel Happy Kids TV Nursery Rhymes has overtaken me and is going to beat me there. So please, don't let me lose to a nursery rhymes channel. Hit that subscribe button so that we can win the war. And that 15th pyramid was also empty, which was a bit of a letdown. Same news in the 16th, the 17th. Even the rune portals aren't much help today. Emptiness in the 18th, as well as the 19th, the 20th, 21st. This is my 25th one. Still not found it. I should have found 2 by now. I may have just found the coolest cave ever. Look at it, it's outside, but it's... This is so cool in a lush cave. Wow. If I could find a knot chapel in this mineshaft, it really would be the perfect cave. Managed to successfully find one. Not what I was hoping for. But hold on, there's 1, 2, 3 more down here. Nothing useful in this one, or this one. Oh, this one. Did they just remove knot chapels from the game or something? Well, this cave does keep finding me new minecarts. New minecarts with nothing in them. There can't be many more of these left in here. But as long as I keep finding them, I'll keep searching them. I've even found a dungeon in here. Sadly, no good loot. Maybe, I don't know. I should get back to searching the pyramids. Pretty sure I've exhausted that mineshaft. So searching for deserts is indeed what I shall now do. Although right here, we've got 1, 2, 3 minecart chests all in the open. You just never know with these. Once again, I let down. Let's head back to the pyramids where I know where I am. I can't say I didn't get a lot of good stuff. I've got 37 golden apples from this journey so far. But the main treasure continues to elude me. And that is 30 of these desert pyramids I have searched. Today is just not my day. Finally! Finally, I have found one. 39 of these stupid desert pyramids. And I have got knot chapel number 32. Finally, I can build a portal and go home. Although before I go, I do just want to check the rest of this desert, since there are some unlooted pyramids. I doubt there'll be anything useful, but you never know. I've searched another 3 more, and it looks like we've got nothing. And I've also run out of unsearched desert, so this time I really will go home. You know, there really is no place like home. I mean, Elytra have just broken. And while we're on the subject of Elytra, what do you think of the cape that I've got now? Yes, I have got the cape that you get if you migrate your Microsoft account. But it looks really good on the Elytra, doesn't it? It's my first real cape that isn't an Optifine one. And look at all of this free XP just lying at the bottom of the farm. Although sadly, it wasn't quite enough to repair the Elytra. Just means I don't have to waste time climbing up the ladder. Now everything is repaired, and I'd like to welcome knot chapel number 32 to the wall. You really were a pain to get. And meanwhile, something's gone wrong. Everything seems to be backed up for some reason, and I don't know why. Oh, it's backed up because I'm an idiot. What? Why would I... What happened there? Then again, guys, me being an idiot is, it's not really anything new. I'll grab a hopper and put it back where it's supposed to go. Looks like it's problem solved. Next, I'm going to grab a few resources, and I shall also mine up a load more wood. Although I think I'm going to change up this redstone, because use this comparator system, it's just not very reliable. Instead, I should have an observer like that, and one also right here. And that will, as you can see, that's just moving them all upwards with no problem going all the way up. And if I also put a piston right here, as well as a comparator into a block with a torch and redstone. Actually, never mind. It should be redstone followed by a repeater. Slightly adjusted the redstone so that I could have a comparator coming out of this one as well. And it looks like everything should be working fine now. So I'll start mining up more wood, and I can take all the wood, which will later be used to make chests so that I can make hoppers. Because to fix my EOL collection system, I need to make all these ice pathways to be 1 block higher. And that includes moving the auto storage 1 block higher, and then that'll need extra hoppers, which is why I needed loads of wood. Fixing this should not take me too long at all, so let's get to work. And that is now completely done. All of the ice is now 1 block higher. Oh my goodness, where does the gas come from? I just can't catch a break with this machine. That's that dealt with. There we go. Can very quickly fix the redstone. And I also just need to hook up this piston to the redstone. Quite a easy task. So now when an item falls, all of the pistons will extend. So all that's left to be done is test it out. Also, apparently my skylight suppression broke in this middle chunk here. I think I didn't put any string in it. I'm going to have to fix that. All it requires is for me to grab loads and loads of blocks, turn on the light suppressor, and then build a roof. I've now covered up the 3 chunks where the light suppression had broken. I just have to build out 15 more blocks on all sides so that it skylight suppresses again, which means filling in loads and loads more blocks. Finally, everything has been placed down, so I'm going to reload the world. Now let's get this suppressor off. Seems like only covering some of it has not worked because the light level here is now messed up. So I'm just going to skylight suppress the entire thing. And the full roof is now finished. I hope I never have to do this ever again. Now to light suppress again, and then remove this roof. And for what will be the last time, it is mission accomplished. Next, I'm going to turn off the mob switch and properly test out the EOL farm because it should be 100% finished. Plenty of time has passed, let's go and see how much loot we've got. So as you can see, it has been getting me a lot of different items. All these chests are just full of shulker boxes. But the items I care about the most are going to be the bones and also the gunpowder. I'll be able to make a lot of TNT with all of that. And I'm now going to use all these bones to make a really quick and simple little wheat farm. Because it seems to be a bit of a recurring problem that I just never have enough wheat. Oh look, Screamer's an adult now. It's just an hilarious scream, isn't it? Now, I think it's a good place in the corner for this wheat farm, since it's right next to the Tower of Slavery. I mean, the employment tower. Water goes here with a dispenser on top, and then dispensers on either side as well. And basically, what's going to be harvesting the crop is this piston is going to be repeatedly going in and out. As you can see, right now, there's light inside. And now there's no light inside. And now everything is fully done. I moved it one block lower as well. I'm also going to add a couple of hoppers going into the dispensers. And then I'll fill it all up with bone meal. I'm going to manually get some wheat from here. And then fill up my inventory so that will be the only thing that I can pick up. So now if I flick this and hold right click. Okay, in theory... There we go. It seems like it should be working, I think. And in a very short space of time, I've already got over a stack of wheat. And I haven't really used up that much bone meal in the grand scheme of things. So I'll keep AFKing here and get as much stuff as I can. After a pretty short amount of time, I've got a lot. Nearly filled my entire inventory with wheat. Let's compact those down into hay bales. And now that I've reset the inventory, I'm going to do it again. And I have pretty much run out of bone meal now. This dispenser is empty, so is this one. I think... Yeah, to be honest, everything seems empty. But on the positive side, I have got a lot of hay bales from this contraption. So in my opinion, that's a massive success. The next time I need to craft 1,000,000 target blocks, I'll have all the wheat that I need. And now something that I feel like I really need to build is a nether hub. Because what I've got right here, it's just a very poor effort. It's got chickens laying eggs everywhere. It just looks terrible. It's just nothing. So as part of my next project, I'm going to do my best to improve it. I have a vague idea of what I'm going to do for this project, but it's going to take a lot of hard work before it becomes a reality. Now for the floor, I'm thinking this warped wart could be very useful. I shall also fly to a basalt delta to both collect up some basalt and also blackstone. And I shall use these warped wart blocks to build a bit of a crossroads in the center. And then the basalt can be extra decoration along with the blackstone as well. I've made it a little bit bigger and I can even put a shroom light in the middle. Around the edge of the pathways, let's have stairs. In fact, hold that thought. Let's put netherrack around the sides and then stairs on the top. It might look a little strange right now, but once it's finished, you'll understand exactly what I'm doing. I'm going to grab a load of glass and then turn it into grey stained glass. I'll also need loads of blackstone, which, look at that, we've got plenty. Quick with these items, I'm going to put glass on top of the pathways. This just adds a bit more depth to the floor. Now to continue adding the stairs. And next, I'm going to decorate this areas, well, all these corner areas. That's where the blackstone and the basalt will be coming in handy. And now that this is all down, it can also be covered in glass. Already I've run out of glass. And I've run out of black and grey dye. So I'm going to grab a shulker box, head to the end, and spend a bit of time AFK at my Wither Rose farm. Also, for those of you that were wondering how I got Wither Rose farm at the top of the screen, I just simply renamed the wither that lives right here. Loads and loads of time has passed, and loads of wither roses have been gathered. Now to fly back home, grab some more bones along the way, and create more grey dye and grey stained glass. I have to say, when I go through this portal and come out the other side, I already think it just looks so much nicer. There's definitely still plenty of work to be done, but it's certainly looking much nicer than before. I've just got to finish the big project of placing down all the blackstone and basalt, which should make a very good looking floor. In fact, it's actually getting quite difficult to place it on this side, so having some sort of netherrack floor underneath is going to be my best bet. It really is starting to come together, isn't it? The next issue is I'd like to build the walls to be a lot higher than I've dug this ceiling. So I think my only option is to just do a load more mining. As to be said, I'm really going all out with the size of the room I'm chiseling out. Look, the floor's all the way down there. I'm all the way up here. And I just broke my thing. I knew it was close to breaking. Why do I let this happen? Now to sadly use up one of those precious netherite ingots. But it does mean that I can continue clearing out this massive room. And that is all of the blocks removed. I'm pretty sure this should be a big enough area for me to build this nether hub. Yes, it's not going to be a small one. Let's drop all of this stuff into the auto sorter, grab some more pork chops from here, and then we're going to have to craft another silk touch pickaxe. I'm trying to beat the record for how many I can break in a single episode, or at the very least it feels like I'm trying to do that. And that's the pickaxe sorted. Now to head back up here and fly up to the gold farm, since all of my tools need repairing. Everything's repaired, and I even got up to 175 levels. Now it's time to get back to building. On all four sides there's going to be archways right here, which is going to gonna look something like this. Although I think it may look better if it's polished basalt. I'll test it out here and see if it looks better. Yeah, I think the polished one definitely looks better. So let's mine this one up and make it smooth instead. Yeah, that's looking much better. Now to build this on the other two sides. And that is all of them complete. Next I'm going to connect up these pillars with some beams. So the pattern of the beams is going to be like this. And in fact I'll even do a little crisscross right here. And there's also going to be more pillars on the sides that connect up to these beams. And there we have it. The structure's really starting to come together. It just needs to be added to all these other sides as well. That's every pillar complete. Now for the beams. And that is all of these done as well. And I think it is time that I move this redstone as well, as it is just starting to get in the way. I'll probably add some sort of button here that will connect up to the redstone. It'll still work fine, but now that it's gone, I can place in these other blocks. Now in these 3 wide gaps, I'd like to make some more entranceways, which are going to be very similar versions of the big ones over there. They're just going to look something like that. And to be honest, I'm getting kind of sick of mobs spawning on the beams now. They couldn't spawn on the glass, which was good, but now they're being very annoying and getting in my way. So I'm going to fly above the bedrock, which will then turn on the trunk loader and activate the mob switch. Now I can work in peace and quiet. They're also all filled in. Next I'm going to need a load more of the warped wart block, which is this block right here. I'm tempted to make a farm for this kind of block, but I think for now it's just going to be quicker to manually mine it up. All this should be enough for now. Let's use it to fill in some walls. And it's also going to come over part of the roof as well. For example, this right here is going to be completely filled in with it. Although I think I'm going to end up changing these ones to instead be polished blackstone slabs. And the reason for that is because there's going to be slabs like this all the way up. Thought this was going to be difficult, but it turns out to be very straightforward indeed. And we're going to have the same thing above this little entranceway, warped wart behind it, and slabs in front of that. So yeah, the walls are really starting to take shape now. I just have to do this 7 more times. I have now run out of warped wart blocks, but as you can see, it's coming together nicely. My best option is to now head back to the warped forest and mine up loads and loads more. And whilst I'm here, I'll be needing the warped stem as well. So I'm going to get to work mining that as well. I also love this area. You can just tell that there's been Endermen. Look at him, moving these blocks. What a mess you've made. Endermen really are a menace to society. Sometimes even more of a menace than the creepers themselves. Now I can finish these 2 bits of roof right here and begin work on the walls in the corners. So the corners are going to kind of be curved like this with stairs instead connecting up, and I'll just keep layering it up with basalt. I think I've successfully built this up to the roof. Let's see how it looks. I think that worked. I haven't messed up the pattern, which is a good sign. And the gaps up there in each of those bits are kind of annoying me. So I'm going to nip back home, grab some sea lanterns, and then they can be in the roof with a trapdoor below them. Now I'm faced with the very tricky task of recreating that in all 4 corners. That's corner number 2 complete, and that's the 3rd side also complete, and that is the 4th one also complete. Well, it will be complete when I put these 4 pieces of basalt right there anyway. This is really starting to take shape even more so now. I'm going to craft a bunch of these polished blackstone stairs and start doing a bit of work on this roof. I've come up with a bit of a pattern which involves slabs over these gaps, and that's how it's going to look from down here. I'm pretty happy with how it's taking shape, so I'm going to repeat it on all the other sides, and that is another step complete. Now it's time to make these large entranceways look a bit nicer, which is going to involve warped wart blocks. I really find it hard to say that. And also more polished basalt. In fact, we can also have some lights in the middle if we do something like that. These can have trapdoors in front and more basalt going into them. Also, if you're wondering why my mic was a bit dodgy before, it's because I'm an idiot. This right here is my microphone. It's great. But for some reason, I had it all the way up there because I forgot to bring it down. So, you know, that probably sounds terrible. But yeah, I've been doing YouTube for years and years and I still forget the basics sometimes. And that's how that's going to look. Pretty good. Let's also add some upside down stairs on both sides, which will then connect to a row of slabs. The stairs on this level can go all the way across and then also connect up in the middle as well. This is how the roof underneath the beams is going to look, and this is what we're going to end up with. It just needs to be recreated on all 4 sides. Side number 2 is complete, as well as the 3rd one and the 4th one. Very happy with those. Now to build a kind of staircase that goes upwards like this. And all this has done is made me realise I didn't quite dig the roof to be high enough. So I'll just do this on all 4 sides and dig out as much of the roof as I need to. Now that I've got more space to work with, I'll start adding in all of this roof. It's going to be a little bit of a complicated pattern, but I'll soon get the hang of it. And just as I was getting going, trying to work out how to make it into a spherical shape, I've run out of the blocks. So it's back to the warped forest to gather up warped wart. Now that I've got plenty more, it's time to return to building. And I think I should now have successfully done it. Oh, look at that. It just looks beautiful. I've just got to recreate it 3 more times. If I pull this off without getting any blocks in the wrong place, it will be a miracle. Second one is also done. Believe it or not, but that one is also with no mistakes. Once again, I've run out of blocks. So once again, I'm going to mine up some more. And with that, I can get back to building. Side number 3 is also done. Just one more to go and the roof will be completed. And finally, side number 4 is done as well. From down here, it looks like there are absolutely no mistakes. And I think it would be really cool if eventually that was my way up onto the bedrock. The current bedrock hole is no longer really in a good place. In fact, there's no time like the present. I'm going to grab the needed resources and begin breaking a new hole in the bedrock. It's a pretty straightforward process. When I place the piston like that, the bedrock underneath is broken. I've already broken plenty of pieces around this center bit, but there's still many more to go. All the bedrock is gone in this shape. Let's mine up the obsidian and dig a hole that goes all the way down. Now the real question is, have I put the hole in the right place? I think it's perfect. Once I remove this tree right here, I can get all the way to the bottom, and if I look directly up, look at that, I can fly straight above the bedrock. I do want there to be some sort of wall around though, so I can fly up and I won't like fall out or anything. So I'm going to head back home, grab some magma, and then build a tube going all the way up. I've almost made it to the top. Any gaps in the bedrock will also be filled with magma, and I think it's complete. And I have to say, I think it looks good. I think it adds a little bit of color, a little bit of mystery up there. We can fly straight up. Look at that. Really cool to fly through. Looks cool when you look down it as well from up here. It's a very cool addition if you ask me. Although I do still need to add a bit more lighting in here. So I'm going to go back home, grab some lanterns and end rods. And the end rods are going to be placed like this with a lantern on top. And also lanterns in the corner like this. And something else that would be helpful is chains. Then I can place lanterns in the middle like this. And also hang them down over these mini entrances. And the idea for these little entrances is that they would have portals behind them. Most of them won't go anywhere and will just be decorated. But it'll just make the whole place look like a proper nether hub. With basalt behind it, of course, so that I don't accidentally walk off a big drop. Now, in theory, this particular portal here should connect to my house. Let's have a look. Good news or bad news? No, bad news. We're in the middle of nowhere. Well, it's not strictly the middle of nowhere, but this is just my chunk loader for my furnace room. So I will try the one on this side instead. And that one brings me to the teleport. I tell you what, this is it's just not going well. Just to test it out, I will mine up the teleporter portal and see if that then allows the portals to connect up. Nope, it's taken me to my portal farm. In here is not the place that I want to be, which means it's now time for plan B, which connects up perfectly. Now, if I go back through, break this portal, we'll see if this one is properly connected. So yeah, going there, it still is. I'm going back. Yeah, it still takes me to a portal, so that's a good news. Because my original plan that I kind of put on the back burner was to create a sliced portal right here, just a little 1x1 one. I just thought it would just look cool, but it also takes so much work and it's not really practical, it's just aesthetic. So I'm going to create all the other portals first, and if one of them connects to my house, then that portal will just be used. But if none of them do, then I'll make a slice portal in the center. And that is all of them done. Let's get rid of this portal right here. And I would also like to thank Christian Baylor for a lot of inspiration when building this place. It has certainly come out very, very well indeed. So this might be a bit of a waste of netherite, but I was going to put lodestones under each of these end rods. Now when I think about it, maybe a respawn anchor. Yeah, that would actually look way better. And if I was going to use lodestones, I might as well just go to a bastion to track them down, rather than using up these precious netherite ingots. I think I'll also benefit from putting crafting tables in all the corners, with ender chests right next to them. The actual lodestone is going to be hidden underground, so if I go and right click that with the compass, it's now pointing there, just in case I ever get lost and want to use the compass to find my way back. And other than slicing the portal, that is this room completely finished. Now at some point today, I do want to go looking for way more ancient debris, but the best way to do that is with loads and loads of TNT. And to make loads and loads of TNT, you need loads and loads of gunpowder. And my EOL farm has given me a lot of that, but I want way, way more. So first things first, I'm going to fly to the pigment farm, which will let me repair all my tools and my elytra. And now that that's done, I will turn off the mob switch and spend loads of time AFK at the EOL farm. I should have loads and loads of items from all that now. So let's grab a load of gunpowder. And believe me, I have loads and loads of it now. And whilst I'm here, I'll also grab a few more bones. And whilst I'm here, I've also got this partially filled up shulker box of redstone. Not loads in it, but it was kind of one that broke because of the blue ice. So I might as well take it home because it could be useful. And while this gunpowder will be used at some point for TNT, for my next task, I'd like to build a sliced portal in the middle of this room. I think it'll just make things look so much cooler. I also didn't realize I already had loads of shulker boxes in here of bones that I brought back earlier. Everything that I need for the update suppressor is right here. The suppressor will be built right here where there's the most space. I'll just have to clear out a tiny bit of this at the bottom, and this bridge will also have to go as well. You've seen me do one of these before, so I'm going to clear the area, build a platform, and then I'll be able to build the update suppressor. And the entire update suppressor is now complete. And before I create the little 1x1 portal in there, I'm going to nip home and grab a few extra resources. One of the things I'll be finding useful is a lot of respawn anchors. And also a few sea lanterns. So the sea lanterns are going to go here like this. And I'll also take this opportunity to now build the portal. Next, let's turn on the update suppressor, light it and break. Hold on, I need to make sure I break the correct block here. Yeah, I want to break this one up here. As you can see, we've got a little 1x1, so we can now break the blocks around it. I can break this one, but I can't break that obsidian, otherwise the portal will break. So to solve that issue, I'm actually just going to move the track so it goes a little bit lower, just like that. Then I can update suppress once again and break this obsidian without causing any updates to the portal. Let's chuck a respawn anchor underneath and charge it. And I think I'm going to have to move these up again. Update suppress, and that means I can place glass blocks either side and it won't break the portal. Doesn't matter with blocks on this part because that just doesn't update the portal, whatever. And with that, I think we're completely done. So let's just break these and replace all the glass. Let's remove all of that. And this is my portal room, so I can use this little one to go home whenever I want to. But I do also think it would be cool if I was to remove a bunch of this warped wart and replace it with respawn anchors. Right now it doesn't look very good, but if I go ahead and charge them all up, it will then create this very cool looking portal floor. Although to finish it, I'd need a load more glowstone and crying obsidian, and having loads of crying obsidian isn't too much of an issue, but for now, getting loads of glowstone is a bit more of a challenge. Although before the end of the episode, we will rectify that problem. Before I can think about that, I need to completely get rid of this update suppressor. It takes an hour to build one of these, and less than 5 minutes to destroy. Although it has to be said, it's quite satisfying just to pick up all the items. And now that that's done, I can begin work on the next project. And that new project is something that is known as a stacking raid farm. It's basically a much more powerful version of a normal raid farm because my current one is just not fast enough. This new one will get me about 80,000 emeralds per hour and I will finally be able to fix the floor in my house. Not to mention the fact that it'll also get me loads of glowstone and redstone, two very useful things. Building this is going to take a huge amount of materials, and a large chunk of those materials is going to be glass. So I'm going to put my super smelter to good use, although I'm fresh out of fuel, which is a bit of a problem. So I shall head down here, fly to the fortress farm, and then I can collect up lots of coal. And after spending quite a bit of time at this farm, I've realised it's not really the fastest way to get coal, but you know, we've got a decent amount. I will definitely come up with a better fuel solution at some point in the future. But the good news is I've got plenty of coal to load up these furnaces. And whilst they're all smelting, I can be gathering up all of the other items. And finally, I have got all of the different items that I need. Well, almost all of the items anyway. The only remaining thing I need is loads and loads of glowstone. At least when I built this farm, I'll never have to mine up glowstone again. It took ages, but the mission to get all of the glowstone that I need is finally successful. I'm glad that I can say that I will never have to do that ever again. So that means that I've now got every single item that I'll need. And before I start building, I'm just going to nip to the gold farm to make sure that all of my equipment is fully healed up. And you know what? Whilst I'm here, I think I'll get to 200 levels as well. I got a few extra levels than I intended, but at some point I'm sure they'll be useful. And now let's gather up all of these items and begin the project of building this farm. This should be a pretty good chunk to build it. So now it's time to grab a load of blocks and create a large stained glass room under the water. And this is one of the reasons why I needed so much white stained glass. And that is all the glass placed down with some blocks on top. And the next thing to be done is to grab a bunch of sponge and drop a load of gravel. Next I can drain it all, remove this gravel wall and dig this hole to be even deeper. Still got to dig another 25 layers down here. It's going to take forever. So I think it'd be a smart move to place down some iron blocks. And I have now created a full beacon. I'll use that to give myself haste too. And now mining up this hole will be much faster. I've made it to the bottom and this layer down here is going to have leaves on it with glowstone around the edge. And this glowstone around the edge with leaves in between of it is going to go up quite high. But before I add any more of that, I need to add a white concrete floor right here. It's all starting to come together. Let's add some glass on top of this and continue on the leaf and glowstone walls. So far it's looking pretty good, but now I've got to try and get past that high-speed tunnel. And I think the way I'm going to do that is by placing glowstone behind it, which is where the glowstone would normally be anyway, creates enough lighting, but then without blocking off any important parts. I'm pretty sure that doing it like this won't break the farm, or at the very least I hope not, otherwise it would be a disaster. And it looks to me like that problem has been successfully navigated. Now to build these walls up higher and higher. In fact, this is the height that I'm going to bring those walls up to, just above this beacon. And thankfully the mining for this won't take too long. That's everything successfully dug out. Now to start placing. Well, despite mining up millions and millions of pieces of of glowstone, I've completely run out. But it's alright, I've got a plan up my sleeve. All this glowstone in the corners is really just a waste and doesn't need to be there. So if I mine up all of these corners, then I'll have enough to finish the project. Mission to place all the glowstone has been successful. Now to place down all the leaves. And there we go, mission accomplished. I think my next project should be to remove the beacon. Perfect. Has to be said that this tunnel is looking very, very cool indeed. But now I need my first villager. Now, who wants to be my first victim? I mean volunteer. Honestly, I have no idea what's going on here. You know what? It's time to release... Oh, that didn't work. Release the villagers. Whichever one comes to this composter will be the chosen one. You are the chosen one. Welcome. You are going to be put into... If I can put the boat down, you're going in there. And I'm going to briefly lower the drawbridge. Anybody leaves, they're dying, okay? We're going to... Oh, we can't get out that way. That didn't work. And you left. Well, you know what that means. You know what? I always taking his chance to go back. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is why I rule with an iron fist. The villagers, they all know their place. Composter's coming with me. And this villager is also coming with me. Oh, look at that. We can even fit under the... Oh, I'm sorry. What just happened? Alright guys, don't ask what happened to the last villager, just come over here. Don't worry mate, you're in incredibly safe hands. Only this time, let's not go under the bridge. Yeah, that's much safer. Alright villager, let's get you to your new home. And thankfully, because the ice river leads to the ocean, this part is pretty easy. Alright mate, well, it's been a lovely journey with you. But it's time for you to arrive at your new home. Basically, the goal is to get him to stand inside this compound. Look at that. It couldn't have been more cooperative. I am very, very impressed with this guy indeed. Alright, now don't try to jump out. No, resistance is futile, mate. You're in there now. Yeah, there's no going back. In a way, I'm kind of glad that first villager died. And now we're going to build the home of the second villager. You have to say, these phantoms, they tried the best, but ultimately they're not doing too well in there. So yeah, we're going to put some slabs here, composter there, and then a piston with a downwards facing observer. And this hole right here is where villager number 2 will be going. So let's go and get him. Look guys, I know it's inconvenient and you're trying to get some sleep, but I could really do with one of you. Yeah, that's it. Just jump in the boat. Let's go. He looks so sad. He's looking back at his bed. Nope, not for you. We're going on an adventure. In you go as well. That one was a little more precarious. Oh, look at this. Straight in. Now, you know what? These villagers are very cooperative. They're all going to be getting 10 out of 10 reviews from me. Now, what I'm building here is a way to transmit signals up and down a load of blocks instantly. And when you see how it works, you'll probably be like me and think that it is really, really cool. Also, right here is the platform where the next villager is going to go. And now I've successfully made it to the top. If I place an iron trapdoor here and then power it with redstone, can you see just what? Look at how they are now. They're all flat. If I go like that, can you now see how they're like all got a little bit jutting out? You know what? I'm just going to fall and see. Like, look, they've got like a bit jutting out like that. Can you see? It's like kind of 3D. So yeah, when that state updates from all the way up there, it will activate the observer, which will then, you know, move these composters. It works fantastically. But that's enough of me being impressed by the farm's mechanics. Instead, it is time to kidnap another villager. Now, this guy's going to be a little bit trickier to get up there. I'll just have to build a bit of a staircase up. But if he's anything like the previous villagers, we shouldn't have a problem. Let's release him out of the boat. All right, mate, you know you want to go and get that composter. That's it. Don't stop. Just keep going. Look at that. Mission, you just a little bit further. There we go. Mission accomplished. And if I just go like that and pick it up, it should then be done perfectly. There we go. Yeah, everything's fine now. That was surprisingly way easier than I expected. And now to build another of these wall towers going all the way up. Villager number 4 is ready to go to his new home. These bridges are getting higher and higher, aren't they? And for this particular villager, okay, don't walk back in the water. That's it. He's going to head on up, and every time he gets to a composter... Okay, well, apparently he doesn't care about that one. That's just a bonus, mate. But as I was saying, every time he gets to a composter, I'm going to break it, and he'll just go up to the next one. Villagers are just so easy when you know how they work. He's now going to wander all the way up these stairs. Yeah, it got a bit windy towards the end, not quite how I want it to be. But look at that, he's in there. He knows his place. And then I have the task of removing this staircase. And you'll be glad to know that that is the final villager that's going to be going into the farm. The villagers will probably be glad to know that as well. Now to build some more on top of this guy. And now to add another wall signal tower, which is going to be a lot smaller than the other ones. And before I build the redstone that's going to go up there above the wall signalers, I'm going to build this platform, which is going to allow me to get to where all the items will be stored somewhere around here. Right here, there'll be a water elevator allowing me to get up and down. And I can't really build any higher with this tower until I have done all the redstone. Otherwise, things are going to get in the way of each other. The redstone up here is starting to come together quite nicely. And with that, is actually most of the redstone now done in this section. I've reached the top of the water tower, so I can place some water that will go all the way down, fill it in with kelp from here, and once broken, I've got my water elevator. Let's also grab some lanterns and place them on top of these walls just as a bit of extra decoration and lighting. And right here is going to be the area where all the raiders are going to be taken out. But before I build that, I'm going to build all the shulker loaders so that I can store all of the items. It's fairly similar to the one I built in the AOL farm, only the only difference with this one is I can use water, which is going to make it better, and the shulker loader's a little bit better as well. And that's because this whole farm was designed by CCS Covenant. So, of course, the the shulker loader is also going to be superior to mine. And all of the redstone behind these shulker loaders is done. It looks a little bit complicated, doesn't it? But now I get to use snow and blue ice to build the pathway that will carry the items. So this right here is the blue ice pathway, which is going to eventually lead to this hopper. Everything in between is going to be filled with snow, and then these walls are going to hold in water, which will push the items along. The water is going to be coming from these waterlogged slabs. Okay, never mind, they're not waterlogged slabs. It's actually just going to be something like this, and then it flows above like that. And it's the same thing in these 3 places. And I also need a sign above this hopper, otherwise the water's just going straight in. And there's a bunch of redstone components to be added everywhere now, so I'm going to get busy with that. And after adding a lot more redstone, look at it, there's loads of it all in here. I'm finally at the point where I can add the second ice pathway. And I am also very close to running out of time. Whether I can finish it before the video ends, it's going to be tight. The sun is setting on day 3200, but we're going to power on. Oh, we're not going to fall off though. And the cool thing about this part of the farm is that the ice pathway actually snakes around like this. I just think it looks quite cool. Any excess items that don't go in the hoppers will go into that fire. Now the area that holds the water is all built. Let's grab some water and add it to the system. And there's also going to be a sea pickle in this one, and that is now successfully done. And the moon has set, the sun has risen. It is day 3201, and you can probably tell that I just want to keep going with this build. I don't want to stop. However, you know, I've got to think we also need a second sea pickle there. But yeah, as I was saying, I've got to think this through. If I carry on and rush this, you know, something could go wrong. It's a very complicated farm. If I get one single thing wrong, I could end up dying. You know, it could be that serious. I could actually end up dying. And it is also nearly midnight, and the video's got to be done and dusted for tomorrow. I still need to, like, sort out the intro, record that and stuff. So if I carry on, who knows what time I'll be up to. The video will probably not be here on time. So I have no choice but to leave the video on a bit of a cliffhanger. What other things are going to be built on this farm when it's complete? Well, we've got a lair and evoker from a woodland mansion. There'll also be some fancy piston glitches to create floating snow. And loads of other things, like an entire lava room for Ravagers. Yeah, it's really exciting. It's such a cool farm. CCS Covenant has done an amazing job in designing it. And I can't wait to finish it and put it to good use. It will be amazing. So make sure to subscribe so you do not miss the next episode, and so we can beat Happy Kids TV. And that was 3,200 and I guess 1 days in hardcore Minecraft.